Good morning and welcome to Trading with Larry. It's Larry Benedict, joined by Eric Shamalov on a Monday morning. I hope everybody had a good weekend out there. A lot of rain in South Florida. I think we might have set a world record yesterday. It felt like the entire sky opened up and rained for hours and hours and hours, flooding, etc. But made it to the office, no problem today. Excited for a new week, basically the last week of the month. There's actually 7 trading days to go in the month on quote unquote the worst month of the year, which it reminds me of Sell in May and Go Away and all the other made up thing, the shenanigans that they make up, to come up with reasons. But this is a market, honestly, that has no reasons. And I want to be crystal clear right now. We basically gave this to you guys last week with quad witching, basically the simultaneous expiration of options, futures, etc. And I believe that we could have made the high of the year. I know you don't believe me. Um, could have made the high of the year here on Friday. I know you don't believe it. You're stuck in whatever, but it would make. I mean, listen, maybe we can go back up to this level in the next few days. I don't really know, but it feels to me like this was the ultimate rig. They jammed up the cash. They expired everything. And what that means is everybody that's long futures, okay, they get to cash out. Now they have a decision to make. They can either take the cash in the S&P for September or they can roll to December futures. And that roll was setting up to me like a lot of people took their cash and left the building. So a very good week for the markets. Again, we've only had really 2 down days this month of less than 0.1%. So if this market holds where it is today, where it's down about 30, 40 basis points, will be the biggest down day of the month, including the first day of the month where they gapped down 100 points, 110, freaked people out on the opening and then rallied the entire month. But here's the interesting thing. All of this rally, do you know how much the S&P is up for the month?
About what, two and a half, 3%?
Very good, 2.78% basically for where we're going
Hey,
to open today. So,
my trophy
so
for the
my
moment.
question to you is this. Are they going to take out the month in the next 3 to 5 days of trading?
Well, like you said, they could take it out in one day. The real
Oh,
seasonality, the real seasonality starts after that option expiry. They
mm.
average out all the September days, but the real, seasonality happens from option expiry to option expiry.
It's just amazing. I'm not fully sure that that will be the case, but I do see puts bid. I actually was thinking of buying some, I don't want to buy some zero DTE. I want to buy some Friday puts, like for Friday of this week. You got the Jewish holiday, Rosh Hashanah, followed by Yom Kippur, and it's usually, I mean, it's just another saying, sell Rosh Hashanah, buy Yom Kippur. So, that usually means a bit of weakness, like you said, into that seasonality. But again, the market, I don't know. The market is just crazy to me. I mean, Friday's move, and I actually wasn't in front of it for most of the day. I traded the last 2 hours. It was like ridiculous. I mean, we look at the action. We looked terrible in the morning. We turned red on S&P, and then the S&P outperformed the Nasdaq in the last 2 hours of trading by a lot. And then it reversed the other way. And today, you know, like overnight last night in Nasdaq should have been down decently, but somehow they had Tesla up. I know Tesla came in, but again, I don't know why Tesla's up so much, but it was up
I
like
think
7
it's
bucks.
um, I think it's because he shook Trump's hand
Is that
at
it?
at Charlie Kirk's funeral, which, by the way, his wife gave. I don't know if there was a dry eye in the crowd. I would be surprised. That was I think she said something like, the exact people, the exact kind of young people Charlie Kirk was trying to save, were that was the person that killed him. The person he was trying to save killed him.
But why it listen, why, I don't want to get into a whole thing, but why is it his job to save anybody? Okay. And then why, again, listen, it's very interesting because like in the business that I'm in now, the newsletter business, putting out the opportunistic trader, we're basically governed by the First Amendment, and that's freedom of speech. Okay. You should be able to say anything you want. Okay. What happened is a tragedy. Okay. But unfortunately, there's repercussions for saying stuff. Like in this business, I can, give an opinion, a thought, but I can't do something that is, forcing illegal information on you or information that's untrue or, different a bunch of different stuff. So yes, I could say anything I want and I believe that that's what it is. But when you become in a certain light in the world that we live in, okay, people don't want to hear it, and listen, the result was horrendous, but it's scary. Like Ben Shapiro, who's another guy who's very big in the space, he had an office right around the corner from us. He almost took space in our building. I'm sure he's scared for his life. So, it's I don't want to get political or any of that, but it's a fine line. You know what I'm saying? If you're telling people that they can't have an abortion or they shouldn't or whatever it may be, again, I'm not saying what my belief on that is, but you're at the whim of some maniac, and we're living in a society of a lot of maniacs. But I want to get back to the market because I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
that's why I think Tesla's up today. Literally, like I think he shook Trump's hand, and they're like, okay, that's worth 3%. You know,
Okay, okay, whatever, dude. Well,
yeah,
that
it's got to be worth 3%.
what you just said there is the entire. Listen, I'm going to get into it a little bit here because it's kind of upsetting, in a way, to listen to these clowns. And like I said, it's freedom of speech. You can say anything you want, but it's very funny. Why would that be worth 3%?
I don't
I'm
know.
just saying, yeah, you do.
Dude,
Because some maniac,
I know because I know how these people think, and I'll give
right?
you another
You
example
got
from.
you got maniacs. Sorry, Eric. Go ahead.
Go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
No, you got maniacs in a chat room. So what the listen, I don't even know if this should be legal. You got hundreds of guys in a chat room banting about fake rumors, news, information, and then they're hoping that they're first in on the fake news, jam it up, get it out there, let the public and everyone else get it, and then they can make points. My question to you, is that trading? I'm just trying to understand, is that trading like
Yeah,
in
it is.
what?
Don't hate. Don't hate the player. Hate the game. If that's their edge, that's their edge. Our job, me and you, is to figure that out and trade around that. And there's nothing we can do. We just have
No,
to.
but what I'm saying is I'm asking you in technicality. It really, there's no SEC anymore. There's no one watching this. But is that legal? Like if I know, listen, I put out an alert to my subscriber. I do not trade my alerts. But if I traded my alerts that I give out, I'm never going to lose. Okay, because I'm first in and I could potentially be first out, right? So I would say that's highly illegal. But if you think that's okay and that's in the game and that's part of the game, then
No,
that's
well,
fine.
manipulating the front running the price is completely illegal.
Well, what are you
And
talking about there? Well, that's the same thing that's going on in a chat room. If you're the head gorilla, I happen to know a guy who who gives out news in a chat room. He used to give out the news. Listen to this. He used to have an illegal. So what happened on these big firms like Merrill Lynch and they have a squawk box. So they didn't put out like intraday information out through a fax or through whatever. They would come through a squawk box. So these guys had an open squawk box inside of a large Wall Street firm, and they were giving it out in a chat room. Is that legal? I guess they think it is, but how could that be legal? Hmm?
It's not. Well,
Well, I'm
look,
just saying, but you're saying that's the game.
we.
You're
I don't.
saying don't. Yes, you said don't hate the game.
Look, I don't even think the SEC could track these guys. I don't even know if they know where to look. You know what I mean? Like, I don't even know where if they know where the start is. Like, okay, they're gonna go on a Discord channel. Though, how are they gonna trace it? I don't think the people that work in the SEC kind of know what's really like where the hidden alleys are in this business. So
Well, listen, I could just say from my business, the amount of volume that we get when we give out recommendations basically can move a market. Okay. Certainly for a few minutes. So, what do you think they're doing in these chat rooms? They're coming up with the small stocks or wherever they are with some fake
they can.
news, and they move the stocks exponentially, and they hope, and you'll only see this kind of stuff. I mean, you'll see it small always, but you'll only see this stuff big in the kind of market we're in now, where it's frothing and it's literally out of control. But to me, I find that, and maybe I'm wrong, I find that talentless trading. I don't even think it's trading. Okay. So yeah, you know what? It's very funny. And again, we're going to get back to the trading aspect and the markets and all that. But, there are these apps where you can bet real time online sports inter-game. And these guys came up with an angle to beat the casino because the casino or the app wasn't moving the live lines fast enough to the scores, and they were making tons of money. Now, let me ask you a question. I would say that's illegal. Okay, but they're exploiting an angle, and that's, the only reason why I bring that up is I see the same thing going on in the stock market over especially the last 8 months, where or maybe a year, where these guys are able to move stocks. And we've discussed it on this show. There's no market makers. Like if Citadel or Jane Street or Susquehanna were in there, they wouldn't be able to do this. But they go along for the ride. So, like Nvidia, if Nvidia starts moving down, what do you think all the firms are doing?
Yeah, they're pulling their bids. We know that.
No, they're actually pulling their bids and they're selling. They're selling with the orders because they know, listen, they have algorithms to know. You see the kid getting up behind me? They know how many times he put in a buy order in NVIDIA. So let's say we tried to buy NVIDIA 5 times this morning, right? They put that in their algo and they're like, okay, you got this guy on system 2352 clearing at Goldman Sachs, and he's put in 8 keystrokes to buy 5,000 shares of Nvidia, and they know probability. I put in an order to buy five. I bought 1,000 shares. Put in an order to buy five. I bought 1,000 shares. They know, or they think they know, that I'm coming back. And this is what's going on. It's just really the markets become gamesmanship. And it's gonna end when the market corrects and we go from this bull market into a minimum correction or a bear market. Now, again, I don't know when that's going to be, but to me, that this stuff that I'm seeing is not trading. This is not trading. Okay. How do you think it's trading? They're in a chat room, they see XYZ stock, and they see XYZ stock, and they literally are are bidding it up, and they got 80 guys in a chat room bidding it up. How is that trading? I'm not understanding. And they're able to do it because there are algos out there that just follow along. I'll give you an example. When we put an order in to our subscribers, our subscribers, and I appreciate every one of you that are watching that are a subscriber. I appreciate it. But we're doing anywhere from one contract to maybe a couple of hundred, which is a big order. There's always 1,000 contracts that comes in anything that I do. And that's an algorithm seeing volume in a strike. They're like, wow, there's a lot of volume in the strike. Let's buy 1,000. I mean, that's what we got going on here. So I just think the trading is not pure. The market is not pure. Um, again, the market what's weird is in the day when we were trading, the money was always made by the professional trader on the downside. It can't work today because, well, I'll tell you why, because they don't want to get investigated. They don't want to ruffle feathers. As long as the market's going up and everyone's making money, nobody really cares about the gamesmanship. But I'll give you an example. Some guy called me.
Larry, all of this sounds great. Like the algo firms are keeping the market up, but I could just pull up a chart of M2 money supply, plop it against the market, and be like, "Hey, this is why the market keeps going up." You might as
Oh,
well
so it
blame
has
the government.
zero. It has zero to do with fundamentals. It has zero to do with earnings. It has zero to do with anything. It has to do with that money supply. Okay.
Okay, man. At the end of the
All right.
day, with
Listen,
the algos, it's going to revert back to fundamentals. Yeah, maybe the algos can take over for a day, maybe even a week. Like all of last week, I would
how
say
about
they
how
were
about the entire year since April? I mean, what are you talking about? I mean, it's. I mean,
Come
come
on, man.
on.
Since April, the algos are just in pure control because they know how to manipulate the bid ask. The market is up 48% or whatever it is from the low. You really think that?
100%, and I would tell you during that period of time, we had less than 3 up 2% days. Less
I
than
get
three.
it.
So
I
what do you
get it.
think? That is full control. That is full control. Dude, when I used to trade on the floor and when I had my hedge fund, I could tell you that we had in a month 5 days minimum that were 2% or more, at least every single month. We had days that were 3.5% in a day. This is contrived rig. You know it. It's just grind it up for like. Listen, we had an explosive up move on Friday. We were up 20 S&P handles on a freaking $7,000 index. I mean, come on, this is all controlled rig.
Listen,
You could even see it.
I
You could
push back,
even
but I agree. I agree there is a rig, 100%. I agree, but not to the extent that I don't, not to the 40% from the lows. I don't know, but I'll tell you what, I see it seep into other markets, not just stocks. Like even in gold and silver, like silver started to trend with AI stocks. And like it took that whole gold silver ratio uh, upside down, where silver started to really, really run away from gold over the last couple of weeks because AI was running away from the market. So it even seeps into the precious metal market and other markets.
Yeah, well,
So
what about Bitcoin? How come Bitcoin's crapping out? Ethereum just dropped 7% this morning. No one's even looking at it. Okay. So why
I'm
is
looking.
that bad? You're looking at the one market that's up. Every other market is down. I'm looking at my board. It's completely red, including Bitcoin. So I don't know. You got gold and silver up, but other than that, you got all oil products down. You have all agricultural commodities down. You have Bitcoin down. You have everything down. And again, who knows? But it's just an interesting environment. And all I'm trying to point out is that the gamesmanship in this environment is not trading. This is not trading. Trading goes up and down. Markets move around. They shake the tree on the downside. They shake the tree on the upside. They don't like come. I mean, listen, this was all expiration last week. That is for sure. I'm just surprised, you know, it's 10 to 9, market's down a little, and all they want to do is buy it since I walked in the door. It's like, again, it's Dude, there's nothing left. I mean, literally nothing left in the market. Meaning, when I say there's nothing left, there's nobody with open interest out there. And then the funny thing is, this morning when I got up and I look at this, puts are bid to the moon. You know what I'm saying? Puts are bid to the moon. Um, you know, so I don't know why, but they're bid to the moon.
I'm looking at the option chain. I still can't figure out where the S&P is going to open up today. Like what was that weird quirk between the futures and the cash on Friday? Do you have a handle on that, or
No, no idea. I don't know. I
like
maybe they
I
sold
can't
it.
figure
They
out where
bought the
the
future,
cash is
sold the
opening up?
future. I don't know. All I know is we're having our second worst down day of the month, which is is 0.3%. you know Meanwhile, my son was just texting me, and he lives 2 blocks from the UN. He said it's out of control what's going on over there. So UN is in session. It's literally out of control with protests in the city. Nobody cares about anything, dude. Everything is perfect. Don't worry, it's all good. Nothing can go wrong. um
Well, speaking of political news that could move a market, last night as the market is falling, I'm like, I can't find a clear headline as to why. I
Time,
know.
time. I don't want to interrupt you. Time. Falling. What was it falling? 12 points? I mean, come on, falling. I mean, dude, honestly, you are going to get so run over when this thing goes down. I actually feel bad for you. You
Don't
you
feel
think
bad.
a 20 handle move is big? You think a
Dude,
20 handle move is
I'm like
big?
you. I don't care what direction the market goes in. I'll make money to the upside and to the downside. But
Bro, listen, I'm
like,
not going to make you cry on the podcast, but dude, you were losing money 12 days in a row. You were bitterly angry. Now
I
you have
never
a
cried. I was
you
bitterly
scalped
angry.
you
I did not
scalped
cry.
well last night, and look at you. Look at you. Yeah, you're back. Okay? You got it all figured out, right? You got
Yeah,
the
but I'm not
problem
shading
solved.
the where I'm finding alpha continues to be in stuff like the gold silver thing and things like that. Like the market is hard to short, dude. It's hard.
Dude, I'm not asking you to do anything, and I'm not asking anybody out there to do anything. I'm just saying, you know, my son is texting me. He lives on 39th and 2nd. He has to get to Park Avenue and 50th to work, and he can't get there. He's literally locked in his apartment. He said people are walking around the streets of Manhattan with guns. Okay, I don't. Is that a problem? I guess not. We're all
I'll,
good.
I'll tell
We're
you
all
what. A lot of people in New York are exercising their Second Amendment rights. Let's just put it that way. A lot of people in New York. We're like three,
whatever it
4 years
is. I'm
ago,
just saying the world
nobody
is.
was getting guns and licenses. A lot of people in New York are doing that now. So, you know.
Yeah.
But speaking of political headlines that that could move markets, I was trying to find like the trigger for that tiny 12-point move down, Larry. And
Bro, you always need a trigger.
you
How
need a trigger. You
about,
need a
why don't you use the buzzword profit taking? Is that a good one? I don't know.
That's a
I
great one.
don't. Dude,
So I'm
listen,
looking at
I'm
Bloomberg,
still
and look,
hearing, I
and
got to tell you,
Bloomberg is saying that the H-1B $100,000 fee thing is what's getting the market red today. Do you believe that?
Eric, and I think the market's red because expiration is over. They've cashed out, and now they gotta basically, they're whoever's left long has really not a lot of buyers behind it. Okay, so you think $100,000 visa, okay, for people that are expats to come back, okay, is a big deal for Microsoft or any of these. Wait, Zuck spending
Actually, I do. I'm not. I don't know if it's such a big trigger in the short term, but you mentioned Microsoft, all these tech companies, all of the banks, all the hedge funds. I know personally, they bring in H-1B right? And now they have $100,000 fee per
So what?
worker.
They don't bring them in. They work over Zoom. I mean, and they're not gonna $100,000. Eric, come on. This is like ridiculous. 100,000. Zuck, okay, who was on a hot mic, said to the president, "Hey, did I say enough of them? They're spending 600 billion on AI. The whole company market cap is a trillion or a trillion and a half. They're spending a third of the money on AI. Come on, these are all fake numbers. You think $100,000 Visa is throwing these guys for a loop? Not even close. Not even close.
You're
But
probably right. I
I,
had to bring it up though
but no.
because
Let's
that's
go through. Let's go through the buzzword phrases. You ready? Reasons why people need to buy. Ready for the first one? FOMO. I can't even listen. FOMO. Everybody's already invested. So where is the fear of missing out if you're already invested? I don't understand. You need to invest more because it's going up. So you got FOMO. Okay. Then the next one, okay, the one I love even more is money on the sidelines. There's so much money on the sidelines, okay, waiting to come in. I don't know. What
money
am
on
I
the
missing?
sideline. I
What,
love this. Yeah.
I
What
mean,
else you got?
everybody is
Good.
in. They're bringing 10 IPOs a day. Everybody is in. So I don't know. Fear of missing out of what?
Money
Either,
on the
wait a
sidelines.
second. Right. Either you missed out or you didn't. Money on the sidelines. There may be money on the sidelines, but every single person in the United States of America is long stocks, okay, in some format. Everyone through a 401k, through money they're investing. Okay. And here's the best one. You ready for the best one of the excuses why they have to buy? Interest rates are low.
Oh yeah.
How are
Oh man.
interest rates low? Interest rates were low 4 years ago during COVID when they were zero. They're not low. I'm looking right now, and the 10-year is over 4%. It's almost 4.15, on the way to maybe 5. So interest rates are not low. Okay. And then the next one is the Fed is cutting rates. Fed funds is still 3 and 3 quarters. Fed funds, when we were 4,000 points lower than this, were 1%. So I'm not clearly understanding it other than, they have an insatiable appetite to buy every day. So they're buying
I
every
think
day and
I
you
think
just,
you gave I think you gave the folks at home a great way to look at financial news, which is assume every single article you read is just full of you know what, and it's true. Most of
no,
the
and
time,
then,
whatever they say,
no, and then
just complete
everything.
bull.
But everything is also, if you look at it, everything is headlines. So we're down
Yep.
barely a quarter percent after going up every day. We're down a quarter percent, and you're saying the reason is the H1
H1
visa,
B,
whatever. I'm just saying
H1B.
they're using that. And then later, if we actually go down a percent today, they're going to go, market was overvalued, da 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 da. They make up excuses as they go along. They always have to have a reason, which does not make sense. You know what? The real reason, if we end down pretty good today, is because everybody cashed out for quad witching. Billions and billions, if not trillions, were on the table last week. They're out. They cashed it out. So there's not a lot of, I mean, listen, they're buying just because they want to buy every day. But if you look at the markets, honestly, there's not, these guys cashed it out. So we'll see. Just looking at the markets, like even last night, bonds were kind of bid, and now they're not even bid on the long end. They can't get out of their own way. I liked it as a long here for a trade, but I'm thinking as we go into October, unless we get some type of decent sized correction, I think the odds of an October rate cut are going to go down. And I think that's something that we should, at the opportunistic trader, we should look at that every single day. You should have that up on your screen as you're trading just to get an idea of what the Fed may or may not do. And listen,
Ninety-two
when
percent
in your right
probability.
mind, when
They-
in your
They're
right,
they're pricing in they're pricing in 92% probability for October.
okay, well. Keep an eye on that. I say that goes lower. I think that's actually a trade. If it's 92% and all you can lose is 8, that's one of the best trades that I've seen, honestly. If you can only lose it, I'm going to actually put that trade on today.
How you
Because
doing it?
if I can only lose 8% and make 92%, that's a sick trade. That's a 10x. Okay? And I'm not so convinced that they're going to do it. I'm not they are not in a rush. And let me ask you this, what if the numbers that are
What
coming
you just said, by the way, is why I love doing deep in the money credit spreads when volatility is low. But okay, go on.
I don't love that trade, but
You just said 92% probability. That's a 10x if you hit it.
I understand, but I'm not making a wager on something that like you're just saying, "Oh, I'm doing an in the money call spread because if the market happens to go." Listen, I like actually doing an out of the money call spread gives you a little bit more room, okay? And just do it a little bit bigger. You know what I'm saying? The in the money listen, I'm short an in the money call spread today, okay? It happens
I,
to be working. It happens to be working. It's because the market went down. Okay. But the market didn't go down today. If I came into the markets unchanged, my in the money call spread on an unchanged opening, I'm losing money.
yes.
So you have to be right on that. And
Yeah.
it is definitely a strategy that you can use to make money 100%. But, you know, I'm looking at options for later this week on the put side, and they're bid up. I mean, I don't know if you're looking at it, but even for tomorrow,
I can't
80
figure out what the S&P cash is going to be today. I really can't. I don't know.
why
Where
implied
is
pay is 42, 42, 42 and a half.
what?
What do you mean what?
The, where's
66,
the,
42. Why
that's
the
where,
market's down 18 handles, it's going to be down 18 handles. Why can't you figure it out?
yeah, but I'm seeing the ES. Oh, okay. Yeah,
Good,
I
you're
get it.
looking at the wrong thing. Whatever you're
Yep.
looking at,
You're right. You're right. I am 100%.
all
You
right, no worries, dude.
know what I mean? I woke up like 2
Where is
minutes
the straddle
ago. I was
today?
trading all night, dude.
Stop trading all night.
What are you
Just
talking
buy.
about?
Why do you have to
Guys,
trade all night? Just buy gold and fall asleep.
because there's no competition at night. That's why I love trading. While you
Oh,
guys are
you're
sleeping
alone. You're alone. You,
below,
Jake Street, Citadel, and every algo. You're right.
yeah,
You're alone. You
just
got him, baby. The
just
algo's
us.
sleeping.
Yep,
Eric, the
just us.
algo doesn't take a nap. Okay, it goes all night, all
Hey,
night. So, I mean,
while we're
listen,
young, right? While we're young.
listen. I used to trade all night, every night. I I saw great trading and great volatility. The market, listen, the market we're in here is about to probably, you know, I'm not saying it's going to give it up on the opening. I don't know when it's going to give it up, but
What
if
is
we
it going
go
to give
if
up?
we
The
go
straddle
down
is at 21. How is the straddle at 21 today?
because they don't think we can move. I don't know.
So that's incredible.
Well, then you should sell puts and put spreads that are 80 80
I'm not
down
selling. I'm
80
not
down
selling.
80 listen to me, 80 down in S&Ps are bid to the moon. $3. 80
What?
down. 80 down. I'm
So
telling
you're
you.
saying the
The
65?
66.50s, that's over 100 down or almost $3. Go to the 70s, 60s. They're all $4, $3. I was looking at them and I wouldn't sell them yet. I don't think they're
Larry,
short.
I don't see that for this morning. I don't know.
No, for tomorrow,
Oh,
not
for
for
tomorrow.
today. For tomorrow. Today they're not bid up. For tomorrow,
And why are they bid up like that for tomorrow?
they're bid up for the rest of the week because, dude, they're listen. We're up 2.75% for the month. Okay, I'm telling you, I don't know how and when they could take that whole 2.75 out in less than a week. That's how it feels to me. But you know, these guys, they want to buy every tick, every minute. You know, it's funny. Look at Apple for a second. Apple had like that developers thing. They didn't talk about AI. The stock got down to like 227. It's up like $20 because somehow some guy said their iPhone sales are good, but you know they're not that good. I mean, come on, who? What is it? An iPhone 17 now? I don't know one person that has the phone. Not one. Not anyone in my family. No one. So I don't know where they're coming up with that. But that rallied the stock $20. So you know,
I'm gonna
and
want one. I'm gonna want one. Everybody's gonna want one. But yeah, I think Apple's
why are
not a
you
good.
going to want one? I'm on an iPhone 14. What do I want? Why do I want it? My phone works perfectly fine. Why would I want it?
Because we're influenced by a consumer-driven economy from birth.
Yeah, but I'm telling you, in my channel checks, as they used to call it, my family, no one has asked me for the phone. So I'm either A, I'm happy because I don't want to buy it, and B, they're not that interested. So I don't know who's so interested, but it's not coming from anyone in my families.
Yeah,
So
I'm looking at those Friday. You mentioned you want to put on a thing for Friday. Listen, the puts are priced very nicely to buy some butterflies 100 points down.
okay. I mean, you can buy any butterfly you want for like zero. Basically,
That's
flies
what
are
I'm saying.
trading. Flies trade around zero. If they hit up, you're king. If they don't, you don't. And a butterfly, for people that don't know, is you buy one strike. Let's say you buy the 40s, then you sell the 30s two times, and you buy the 20s one time. So the whole key to that trade is you're buying one, selling two, buying one. You're hoping that the market goes to the midpoint or where you have the two. And then the reason why they call it a butterfly is because the wings open up like that. So the thing opens up like a butterfly. So it's a good strategy. It's um, very low risk, lowish probability. I know guys who I traded with on the floor that made career money trading these things for years and years and years.
Yeah, they
Not a
don't
bit.
always hit. They don't always hit, but when they do, it's spectacular.
Yeah. I mean, I like to do it a little bit lopsided. So depending on my feel, I'll buy one, sell two, and then maybe move down the strike a little bit so that I can even make a credit. But, I'll explain that another day. But
You
let's just
should explain
quickly.
that. I'll give you a little bit of credit today, but just one time this week, I'll give you a little bit of credit. I never used to trade this stuff before, like we started working together. So opening up the door for incorporating these kinds of option strategies around futures is just it's a must have.
Listen, options in my business that I'm in with the newsletter is the biggest fallacy. Everybody's like, oh, everyone's scared of options. Do you know how much option volume is trading out there? Nobody's scared of this. They've discovered how good they are, how much leverage they have, how you could define risk, and they're great to use. You got to be careful trading zero DTE options, because when you're buying them, you have to be right for the day. But I'm sure everybody, who's trading them, knows that. But let's get to the markets, just in general. Bonds are flattish. Oil's getting hit almost in the 61 handle, kind of depressed. Got out of that trade. Probably shouldn't have. It's going lower. Um, you know, Natural gas looks interesting. Not doing anything yet, but it's like 290. Looks pretty interesting. Gold is, to me, unexplainable. I'm gonna let you.
Uh,
You're my gold bug. I know they have to buy. I know.
Dude, you owe gold an apology in my book.
Why do I owe gold an apology? I don't
You
trade
owe
it.
gold an apology.
Why
You've
do I
been bad.
owe it dude? You are
You,
so out of line. I owe gold an apology. Why? Why?
dude,
Because it's up. I I don't trade it. It's not in my core of what I trade. What I should. So I'm an S&P trader. I trade U.S. equities, international equities. Trade a little bit of oil. I trade bonds. But I owe it an apology because I didn't trade it. I don't trade it. It's not in my
gold.
wheelhouse of what I
If
trade.
you're
You owe
bearish,
gold for.
gold. If you're bearish, gold is such a better expression of being bearish on the macro economy than just shorting
Okay.
stock.
All right, there, dude. I liked you last week a lot better when you were losing. You
I'll
had one
try.
good night and you're back, dude. You were on this
Yeah.
podcast
All
last
takes,
week. It
man.
was
You know how
actually
it is. You know how it is. That's all
no,
it
I
takes.
don't. I've been in the listen. If you guys out there want to watch a really good podcast, okay, you can watch me. I did a podcast on words of wisdom. So it's words of wisdom, Rizdom, wisdom. I have an hour and a half podcast talking about my trading career and exactly how to sort of do this. And the bottom line is, I think you'll get some good information, and I'm not like emotional like you off of one good day. I do this every day. Dude, why,
Emotional?
dude, do me a favor. The funny thing is you work with me, you didn't even watch it. The funniest thing is you work with me and you didn't watch it. It's actually pathetic. Pathetic.
It,
But it's all good.
I know
You don't
everything.
want to learn anything about trading from someone that's made, hundreds of millions of dollars in trading over a
Dude,
career. You got them in gold last night, dude. You made $25 in gold. You're back. Whatever,
I
dude.
mean, how'd you know it
Last
was
week
25?
you couldn't even speak on this podcast. I
How
literally
did you
had to
know
wake
it was
you up.
25? That's pretty
Whatever.
good. Uncanny
What is?
that you guessed 25. But what did you say in that last 2 minutes in that podcast? Can
Dude,
you?
you're unbelievable. That's all I gotta say. You made money overnight. You're like back. Like it's the
No,
craziest thing.
it's not. What I'm excited because I'm talking to you, bro.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Hearing all your bearishness
I'm
and
not bad at it, dude.
algos.
I am the lightest that I've been in a long time. Okay.
Why is that? This is like the sweet spot. Like if the market is going to go down, it's going
Eric,
to be
because I'm not making
a
money.
couple of weeks.
So when you're not, listen, it's called risk management. And when you're not making money, you pull back your risk. You don't trade as much. And as our moniker for our opportunistic product says, you just want to put a P on the page. You just want to have a positive day. Now, if I have a positive today, that's great. You've had a positive day. Look at you. You're chirping around. You lost money 14 days in a row. You made money one day and you're back. I mean, listen, you need to watch the
Well,
pod.
I'll tell you what.
You need to watch the podcast, is what I'm telling you. And people out there, it'll teach you to understand trading. And in there, I discuss a lot of how to manage big P&Ls, how to handle, making and losing money, and how I don't know if you've gotten there yet, but how this becomes a business. How this becomes a business. I had days I made over $10 million and I didn't celebrate the way you're celebrating. I
I'm not
mean,
celebrating.
oh
We're
yeah,
just.
you are. You're chirping it up. I made $25 in gold. Okay, whatever.
No, I'm telling you where the alpha is. I'm saying short silver, go long gold now. That's all I'm saying.
I have no idea about
I'm
any of
saying that trade was driven by AI because silver was ripping on this stupid theme that silver, like the AI trade needs silver. I look at the forward curve on silver. There's no backwardation. It's all a theme. It's all, nonsense. And all of a sudden, silver is trending with AI stocks. And then last night, that relationship broke. I was looking for that break. That's exciting.
Okay. On a one night trade for less than a percent. I mean,
Yeah,
none of these
but
things.
you know
Dude,
what that less than 1% can do in the
I
futures
don't know
market.
how it broke. We got silver up 1.06% and gold up 1.04%. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I don't have a high and low, but it can't be too far from where we're at. But whatever, dude. I got it. I don't trade that. Thank God you're on the podcast. You can show everyone trading gold and silver. I don't really trade that. And I think, when you trade a market like gold, you're like, listen, like the whole thing with trading is understanding how much vol like the market has, and we're able to do that on this podcast by looking at the straddle, right? So, sometimes that gives us a clue. Like today, if the straddle was $35, we'd be like, wow, it's outside the box of the 20 to 24. Maybe today is going to be very volatile. Like in gold and silver, like you don't even know what you're trading for. you know, you gold can move $100 in one day. Listen, when it wasn't in this rip roaring bull market like a year and a half ago, we had $100 down days, 120. So I don't know. To me, that's just, I don't want to trade a market that's going to move 3, 4%. Just, it's too hard to navigate. But that's why I have you and I'm happy. But, you know, I just want to get to these markets because we're late. Bonds, again, look very weird to me. They're barely up. Yields are 4.10, 4.11 on the 10 year. Um, the currency, which the dollar had a decent move off the Fed meeting, is kind of right back to almost 118. I mean, the dollar is really crappy. Um, Gold, the same story, up 42% for the year. It's pretty amazing. Amazing move. You're my gold guy and my silver guy, so I'm going to let you direct.
Oh, I
Looking,
graduated. Now I'm also the silver guy. That's awesome.
dude,
Thanks.
I don't even know if I've ever traded silver in my life, to be honest. I may have traded it, maybe. It's not even anything that I would trade. It's too illiquid and too volatile, so I don't trade that. But
The reason I'm comfortable with all these is because my first job, pretty much managing money for a fund, or it was literally I had to trade all of this stuff at the beginning of a bear market in commodities. So I wouldn't recommend it for anybody out there that is just starting out, but that's that's how I started.
well, listen, you know, it's a volatile market, um, but you know, overall markets again. If the market today goes down and acts weak, I will be getting aggressively short because you have, a number of different things popping into the market. You have a little bit of seasonality, like you said. Again, the S&P is up 2.75 for the month or 2.68, right? I mean, it's funny. Since I walked in, the market was really shaky in S&P below. I can't even say the number. It's so high, 6,700 on the futures. I mean, it is a mind blowing. Listen, we were looking at the thing at 6,100, 5,900, 6,200. I mean, it's it's not even anywhere near that. So, I think the market, I'm not saying today, I'm not whatever, but it could pull back in here at least 100 to 200 spook points and still be fine. It won't be fine for everyone. I was out this weekend with a couple of guys that are very long AI stocks. They'll never sell. But it's like they're chirping it up. And then when these things start to turn, they freak out. How is that? How do they freak out in Palantir at 145, but when it goes back to 175, they're fine?
They're freaking out because they feel internally, I think, like psychologically, those gains are like ill-gotten gains. Like they know they're gambling a little bit, and it's like at the casino, like you're up a lot of money, that theoretically you're going to lose on the next hand and lose it all. And I think that's what a lot of people feel. I think that's why they freak out every time the market drops a percent, because in the back of their mind, they're like, they know the market shouldn't be up here. They know that they're in these stocks because they threw a dart up at the board. I know a guy that bought Intel calls, and he's not a pro. He admitted it to me. He was laughing at the market actually, and what kind of a clown show it has become. He literally bought Intel calls for completely different reasons, as a complete bet, just throwing a dart up at the board,
Hmm.
and Intel comes out, they invest into Intel up 30%. He's rich. Like it's a clown show, and they know that internally. That's why I think they freak out every time the market drops a little bit.
Right. Well, I'll give you an example of that. So my friend is long Palantir. There's this guy, Andrew Leff, who used to be a short seller or whatever. He's been indicted, whatever. But anyway, somehow he gets airtime. And he put a price target of $42 on Palantir. $42. Okay. And My friend bought the stock at like 75. It goes to 142. You would have thought he lost all his money. He's calling me up, asking me. He's like, "What do I do? It could go to 45." And then all of a sudden, you never hear from the guy again. And he's stronger than he was the last time, even though they're not strong. So it's like, I would say it's a paper tiger market. Paper tiger, you know?
Yeah.
So
Anything you're bullish on though? Like when I get really bearish, I want to find something that
I
I'm
mean,
bullish
I
on.
don't know. Maybe there's some individual stocks out there that, haven't gone up that I like. I don't like. Listen, it's the same stocks, it's Tesla, it's the same stocks. And what's interesting is every day, one of these maniac stocks is up. So, like today, I saw Oracle was down small. Like tomorrow, Oracle could be up. This is like the seventh biggest or sixth biggest stock in the world with no liquidity. It's scaring me how there's such a lack of liquidity. And it's 9:21 and we're going to get off in about 2 minutes, but it's been the same opening every single day this month, meaning wherever the market is on the opening, the screen goes like this. They just buy it up every morning. So we'll see if today's a little different because I believe, the cash out of the expiry is a big deal. I know no one even understands that or has ever traded that, but big money came off the table on Friday. So, we'll see. And you know what market is very interesting to me and maybe is a buy versus the US is this German DAX has just gotten murdered. I mean, murdered. It's down another 150 today at 23,500. You know what the high in the DAX for the year is?
No.
Almost 25,000. It's down over 5.5, maybe 6% from the high, Eric. If we went down 6%, they'd call the Air National Guard in, okay, to freaking save it. Honestly. I mean, that's the market we're in right now. But how is the DAX 5 or 6%? The high in the DAX is 24,007. We're 23,005. That's 1,200 points. I mean, that's 5% almost, maybe a little more. And we're just sitting here dancing every day at a new high. Why are they down 5.5%? They were outperforming us by 30% this year. Why are they so bad? And we're so
Yeah,
good.
I think part of that has to do with why the euro's been up. I mean, yeah, it's been up because the rate differential on the 10-year, between Europe and here has
Well, what
really.
what Europe are you watching? Depends on where you're watching. If you're watching Blooms, what's the rate differential? The rate differential is actually positive to boons. If you're looking at gilts and you're looking at London,
No, they have a like a ECB Treasury 10-year.
okay, and what's the rate? It's definitely less than ours. Definitely.
It's less than ours, but it used to be 230 points less than ours. Now it's only around 130 points less.
Okay, so you think
It
what does
came,
that
that
have to do?
spread came in
Well, let me
a
ask you
lot.
a question. If you're buying a market and it's based in dollar terms, okay? It's based in dollar terms, okay? Why would you have a problem buying the DAX? You're getting the positive movement in the euro. So not only are you in Germany, or you're in, whatever market, it's priced in euro, which is exploding. So
It's
why
even
would that market be underperforming us with a much stronger dollar? But that's for later conversation. But we're very close to the opening. Let's watch the opening. You're going to get one of these on the opening, and we'll see what happens after that. And again, watch for watch for a little bit of seasonality. Remember that a lot of this stuff has been cashed out. Just for people out there to understand, they've cashed out a lot of the long position through futures, and we'll see. We'll see if we get some selling today. That's all. I mean, you can't get. You know, they buy every day, so you can't get overexcited. But if it doesn't come, I think you can. Coming into Tuesday, you can aggressively get short. Anyway, I wish everybody luck today, and we'll be back tomorrow. Enjoy.